What if the stories we tell today are missing a crucial ingredient, an ancient magic? In a world overflowing with short-form content and fleeting trends, we're diving into the forgotten art of traditional storytelling. Prepare to rediscover the enduring power of narratives that have shaped cultures for millennia, long before the internet even existed. Once upon a time, stories were not written on screens or shared through tiny speakers. They were spoken, from heart to heart, around the warmth of a fire, beneath endless skies. Our ancestors didn't just tell stories. They lived them. Each tale carried the lessons of the past, the spirit of the people, and the wisdom of survival. Through stories, children learned courage. Villages found unity. Love, fear, joy, all lived within the words. But today, the fire has changed. The glow that once came from the flames now comes from our phones. We still tell stories, but are we still listening? What happens when we forget the old ways? Long before ink touched paper, before books and films, before the written word itself, there were voices. In the beginning, storytelling wasn't art, it was survival. Around the fire, tribes shared tales to remember where the water flowed, where the dangers hid, when the stars would return. These stories weren't written, they lived in the minds of elders, carried through generations like sacred fire. Every myth had a purpose. A story about a hero taught courage. A tale of a fallen hunter reminded the tribe to respect nature. A song about the moon explained the passing of time. Through story, humanity made sense of the unknown. As centuries passed, stories became the first language of meaning, turning fear into faith, and chaos into understanding. In ancient temples, stories became prayer. In kingdoms, they became power. And in families, they became legacy. From the deserts of Africa to the mountains of the Andes, from the caves of France to the islands of the Pacific, people used stories to say, "We were here. We existed. We mattered." And even when entire civilizations vanished, their stories remained. Etched in stone, whispered in wind, painted in symbols only time could keep. Storytelling was humanity's heartbeat, the invisible thread connecting every generation to the next. A reminder that no matter how much the world changes, the need to share, to remember, to belong, never fades. Somewhere along the way, the stories began to change. The voices that once carried wisdom and warmth were replaced by the hum of machines, by the cold light of screens. We stopped gathering around fires and started gathering around pixels. The storyteller's pauses, the silence that once held meaning, were replaced by scrolling, skipping, swiping. Once, a story could take hours, even days, to unfold. Now, we demand it in seconds. Stories became content. Listeners became audiences. And storytellers became algorithms. The rhythm of tradition gave way to the rhythm of consumption. We traded patience for speed, connection for clicks. And though the stories still surround us, we rarely feel them anymore. The sacred became disposable. The timeless became trendy. But deep down, something inside us still resists. When we hear an elder speak, or see a child lost in a tale, that ancient flame flickers again, reminding us that storytelling isn't just entertainment, it's part of who we are. Because no machine, no feed, no trend can replace the human voice telling a story with heart. It's in our DNA, that urge to share, to remember, to belong. The fire never truly died. We just stopped sitting close enough to feel its warmth. But not all is lost. In a world drowning in noise, there are still those who listen, and those who dare to tell. Across the world, a quiet revolution is unfolding. In living rooms, classrooms, street corners, and digital spaces, people are rediscovering the voice. A teacher shares a folktale from her grandmother's village. A podcaster weaves myths into modern lessons. A father tells bedtime stories that his own father once whispered to him. The medium has changed, but the soul of storytelling remains. Whether it's spoken through a microphone, painted on a wall, written in a song, or performed on a screen, the essence is the same. To connect. To pass a spark from one heart to another. We are seeing a return to depth, people craving authenticity in a world of filters. They want stories that breathe, that remind them of who they are. And this new generation of storytellers, they blend the old and the new. They carry tradition in one hand, and technology in the other, not as enemies, but as allies. Because storytelling doesn't belong to the past. It's alive, evolving, and waiting for anyone brave enough to keep the flame burning. The voice has returned. And through it, the world remembers, we are more than data, more than trends. We are stories still being written. The art of storytelling was never truly lost, it was only waiting for us to listen again. Because stories are more than words. They are bridges between generations. They hold our laughter, our pain, our dreams, the invisible thread that keeps humanity whole. Long before history was written, it was spoken. Every legend, every prayer, every whisper around a fire carried one truth. We need stories to understand who we are. And that truth hasn't changed. Whether told by an elder's trembling voice or shared through the glow of a screen, the power of storytelling remains the same, to remind us that we are not alone. In every language, every song, every tale, the human heart beats the same rhythm. The rhythm of connection. So the next time you tell a story, don't just speak. Feel it. Pass it on. Keep the fire alive. Because one day, when the screens fade and the noise disappears, what will remain are the stories we shared. And the hearts we touched through them. The lost art of storytelling isn't lost at all. It lives in you.